Welcome to the Uzziah Show. I am your host, Uzziah, your success strategist. And if you have any questions about your business, career, or finances, then this is the show for you. Welcome. And I am so excited to talk about tonight's broadcast. Where are all the successful men? You know, that's been a question that's been on many women's minds for years now. Where are all the successful men at? I can't find them. Well, tonight, we're going to do a special on this topic, and it's not just going to be for ladies. It's also going to be about networking in general. Whether you're trying to find successful men for mating or you're trying to find other successful people to network with so you can get to the next level and get bigger results. I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process on how to do that in today's video. So if this is your first time joining, welcome. My name is Uzziah. I'm a professional business consultant, and my job is to help you get out of debt so you can start your own business. And the reason why we're going over this broadcast tonight, guys, is because many of you want to be successful in life, but you don't know where to find the right people in order to level up. You know, you watch all these different content creators and guys on YouTube, but you may not know how to be able to connect with people in person that can help you get to the next level. Maybe you're looking for a business partner. Maybe you're looking for someone to enter into some kind of venture with, and you're really stuck trying to find other people that are like-minded. On tonight's broadcast, you're going to walk away knowing how to find successful men, how to make the right impression, and the things that you need to do starting tonight in order to get to where you want to be. So make sure that you smash that like button. And if this is your first time joining, please make sure that you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you know whenever another show comes on air. Now, for those of y'all that are on, have y'all been seeing all the different changes that are happening behind the scenes? Have y'all been noticing? I've been trying to tweak a couple things here and there, y'all. I've been trying to add in some stuff. I've been telling y'all I've been adding in things, and y'all been like, see, I'm trying to show y'all step by step. We're going to get there, y'all. All right. So just be patient and bear with me because this thing is going to grow. Okay. So I want to give a big shout out to everyone that's been supporting the show thus far. Let's talk about, are successful men hard to find? Now, I got that as a question for you as we start off tonight's broadcast. Are successful men hard to find? Leave me a 1 in the chat if you think that successful men are hard to find. Ladies, you know that you've been saying for years, there's no good men in the world. All of the good guys are gone. I can't find a successful man anywhere I go. Woe is me. If you feel like successful men are hard to find, then please press 1, okay? And to give a quick shout out, I want to first acknowledge the chief in the South. He said, "Greetings, brother. We need to meet in a spirit of cooperation instead of competition." I agree 100%. Also, I want to give a big shout out to my sister, A Diamond. A Diamond with a $10 super chat. She said, "Great conversation. I'm so interested to learn more." Okay. So I want to walk you through this thing, A Diamond. I want to walk you through what it's like in order to be able to find successful men to network with and to be able to really connect. Okay. That's what we're going to talk about on this broadcast. Okay. So for those that are just joining, make sure that you smash that like button. Let's go ahead and talk about how we can do this thing. Okay. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is how the median income for the average full-time worker in America is $51,000. The average income, okay, the median income for the average worker in America is $51,000. The problem is most people want to make more than that. Either you want to make more than that, or you want to attract someone that makes more than that. So successful men seem hard to find. Now, we know that there's only but a small percentage of men in the United States that are actually pulling in a 6-figure salary or higher. So how do you find the successful man that you want to build a relationship with? That's what we're going to talk about. Again, some of you guys may be looking for this type of person in the form of business partners or mentors. Some of you may be looking for husbands that have this level of status. Regardless of what your interests may be, This is going to be a 3-step process showing you exactly how to get it done. Okay. I want to show you guys exactly how to find a successful man and the things that you need to be ready for along the way. Okay. So here are the 3 steps to finding successful men. Step number 1, identify what you want. Don't be so vague about what you want out of life. This applies to anything that you want to do. If you're trying to attract a successful man in your life, you need to understand exactly what it is that you are in the market for. Okay. So, what does this person look like? What type of outcomes do you want with a successful man? Again, I'm not just talking about this for women. I'm talking about this for networking purposes also. Some of you guys out there, you may want business partners. You may want somebody to actually be an investor for a future venture. One of the reasons why you may be stuck at a certain ceiling right now in terms of your salary is because you are the average of the top 5 people that you spend most of your time with. Okay. When you think about that average of the top 5 people that you spend most of your time with, you got to start asking yourself, well, how much money do they make? Typically, I surround myself with high earning people almost naturally because they're the ones that understand the language of business. They're the ones that understand how much work you got to put in. They're the ones that I'll have the conversations about different investments and different business write offs. You are the average of the 5 closest people in your circle. So, right here, you should know that if you're not in the presence of other high earning people, then this may be something that is stopping you from making more right now. So, brothers, if you want to be making more money, you need to start putting yourself in the presence of other men. You need to start putting yourself in the presence of other high earning people because some of their habits and some of their qualities can rub off on you. You know, it's possible, guys, for you to pick up on things by osmosis. Don't think that everything that you're going to learn is just going to be in a book. When you start surrounding yourself around really high performance people, that's when you're going to start to see how they approach business, how they make their sales calls, how they establish new contracts. And then some of that can rub off on you and you can start to apply it to your day-to-day life. One of the big reasons why a lot of you guys are missing out right now is because you're not directly close to somebody that's out here getting it. You might be the only one in your family or in your circle of friends with a certain ambition, and that's why it's hard for you to learn the steps. So let's talk about what you need to do to attract the right men. You need to write out exactly what you're looking for. Stop saying, oh, yeah, you know what? I just want to be in the presence of a successful man. Let me give a quick shout out. We got another super chat. Shout out to my brother Yasha Allah for the $15 super chat. What are y'all thinking about these sound effects? Can y'all hear them? Can y'all hear where the donations are going? I keep telling y'all, if you want to see this show on air, then please donate, y'all. If y'all love this show, if you love what it is that we're trying to do, then please make sure that you donate to the platform, okay? Your time, your money, and your energy is not going in vain, guys. I got a lot of changes coming along the way. I'm trying to take this thing to the next level, but I really cannot do it without you. I need your support. And most importantly, y'all, I need y'all's donations. So please, if you want to see this show get to the next level, all you need to do is tap that dollar icon directly below the live chat box so you can give a super chat and I'll shout you out just like I did with Yasha Allah and A Diamond. And for those of y'all that want to donate through Cash App or PayPal, then the information is on the screen and the links are in the description below. Okay. So now, when we talk about how to find successful men, you first have to have a vision. If you want the right business partner, What does the right business partner look like? Ladies, if you're trying to find a successful man to be your husband, what does this man look like? If it is so vague and is so bland, there's no way you're going to find them. You need to start identifying exactly what you want. Okay. And then from there, you need to start working towards finding the person in real life. So that's going to take me to the second step. After you've identified what you want, the next thing that you need to figure out is where to find them. One of the biggest reasons why so many of us are not successful is because the level of results that we want are not tied to our location. Let me give you guys an example. Let's say that you want to be a really successful actor. Chances are, if you are living in the middle of nowhere, you're not tied to an environment for the outcomes that you want. Typically, people that want to be high profile actors, they go to Hollywood. They put themselves in the right environment where they can be around people that can help them get to that next level. Okay. But what so many people are doing in so many areas of life is they say, well, I want this, but then they want it to come to them. Does success work like that? Does success work like, oh, all you got to do is sit on your butt and then just out of nowhere, success is just going to knock on your door. Hi, I'm success. How are you? Here's the right man on a silver platter. Here's the business partner you want. Here's the husband that you want. Does success ever operate that way? No, it doesn't. If you want to accomplish something in your life, you have to go out there and get it. But how will you ever know what to get if you haven't even defined what you want? That's why the very first step is for you to clearly outline what it is that you seek. So if I were using the example of wanting to be a major actor, I would say something like, okay, I want to star in 5 films within the next 15 years. I want to meet somebody who can help me improve my acting skills, someone that is already behind the scenes in Hollywood. I want to find somebody that is already starred in at least one major motion picture themselves. Like, I would have all of that written down. That would then bring me to the second step of, where do I find that person? Am I going to find them in the middle of nowhere? And not, am I going to find them, in my local circle of friends? Chances are you're going to have to branch out beyond your local circle of friends, and you're going to have to travel to the places where these people are located. You got to find, where do they hang out at? So, ladies, you say it's hard to find a successful man. Where do they hang out at? They may not hang out where you are right now with your circle of friends. Where are the type of locations that successful men can be found? If you're trying to find a successful man, are you going to find him in the strip club? Or are you going to find him somewhere like in church? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you can find him at, let's say, a certain upscale neighborhood, right? Maybe in a place of affluence where only guys like that can hang out because they're the only ones that can afford it. Maybe you might find them in an exclusive gym, somewhere where people are paying top dollar to work out with, high-end personal trainers. If y'all are still going to the Planet Fitnesses and all these other places, no diss, you're putting yourself in a much wider pool of candidates, right? So you may not even realize, okay, maybe the guy over here, he might not even have a job, but the guy over there, he might be making 50,000, 60,000 or more. It's harder to find based upon your location. So you got to put yourself in an environment where the likelihood of a man being successful in that arena is much greater. This includes places like fine dining restaurants, uh, high level charity events, galas, right? Black tie type of events. Y'all got to be at the right functions, man. If you're not finding the successful men, then chances are you're not looking in the right place. Let me look at these comments. Let me see what is going on. Okay. Now, yes, Anika was speaking about there's a little bit of the camel blur. We're trying out new things as we're trying to get this thing going. So y'all bear with me. Okay. I need my IT team back up here if possible. If not, I might have to take myself off the screen for a quick minute and remove the blur just so that way I could get this thing going. Okay, so y'all give me a couple minutes. We're going to get this blur figured out. But until then, let's keep going on this chat. Can y'all hear the audio well? Anika, A Diamond, can y'all hear the sound effects? Avia, can you hear the sound effects? If you can't, let me know. When I go into this right here, can y'all hear this? This how y'all be sometimes in the comment sections when I be asking y'all questions. Are successful men hard to find? If you ain't leaving me no comment, this is how it's sounding. So I just want to know, like, when we go into this topic, ladies, tell me what some of your challenges are. Okay, now real quick, y'all, I'm gonna go do a quick walkthrough. It's the first button right at the top panel next to the Zoom. It's like a little flower button, not that red button, but the button above that. Okay. Yes, very good. All right. We over here, we working, y'all. We working. Avia said that she heard the crickets. Okay. I think it's getting yes. Okay. So did that work for y'all? Is it not blurred up as much now? We over here working, y'all. You know, I'm happy to see you on, Avia, because you can see this thing in real time. And I'm gonna need you to put the magic touch on, sister. I'm gonna need you to work your magic. All right. So yeah, let's get back into it. If the broadcast is clear right now, please press 1, y'all. We're taking a lot of steps and a lot of effort to make sure that we give y'all the best experience possible. Excellent. Okay, so quick shout out to Ariel for holding that thing down. Quick shout out to Ariel from Austin, Texas, man. Y'all know Ariel. She's got to play multiple roles. She's got to wear multiple hats, y'all. Are successful men hard to find? Okay, I want to get y'all cammed up because I want to see what y'all's thoughts are on this subject. Okay, is it hard to find a successful man, a man that's out here taking care of business? And if so, the question is why? Okay, have you mapped out what it is that you want from a successful man? Have you identified the right places to find them? I just told y'all, nobody is going to come knocking on your door to save you. So you got to identify where you got to go in order to find the right people. And like I said, guys, this applies to anything. For those of you brothers that are out there that are looking for the right business connects, mentors, other guys that are moving and shaking, all of this information applies to you as well. Where are you going to find the guys that are making the money that you want to make? Okay, this is so important, y'all, because many of us come from backgrounds where people were struggling to get by. You know, when I was growing up in Los Angeles, the conversation for me was a little bit different because it was never about, okay, well, how do I go to this, upscale function? It was, how do I get the hell out of LA? What's my meal ticket out of here? And so you got to realize that if you come from a certain background where maybe everybody that you knew was living paycheck to paycheck, then you've already been programmed into a paycheck to paycheck type life. You know, if you grew up in the middle class or below, then you've already received that programming. So you're going to have to step out into a new environment to figure out how they do things differently. If you keep doing the same thing that you've always done, you're going to keep getting the same thing that you've always gotten. All right. You're going to have to start trying new experiments in order to take things to the next level. So the question is, where can you find them? Are they a part of certain exclusive membership clubs? Are they in certain social groups? Are they at maybe high-end grocery stores? Because as high earners, they have the money to invest in themselves more than the average person. Ladies, y'all got to get on y'all's game, man. Y'all got to realize you need to start writing some of these locations down in order to really start looking in the right place. Now, for me as a church leader, I always talk about the importance of coming to church, because for a church like myself, where I fellowship True Spirit of Christ, as one of the leaders of the church, we could already link you up with certain men and tell you, okay, this is what this man is doing, this is what that man is doing, this is what this man got going on, this is what that man got going on. And we can help guide you in the right place. So where not only you have a man that's a high earner, but it's also living a godly life. But the whole point that I'm trying to show to y'all is the reason why so many of us will never be successful is because we're not putting ourselves in the right environment. You got to find out the right environment, and you got to be willing to put yourself there. That takes us to step 3. Once you've identified what you want and where the right person is located, then that's when you have to create a plan to move there. Okay. Remember the example I was telling you about when it comes to acting? If you live in India right now, maybe your biggest plan is, how am I going to get to America? If you are a sister and you're trying to figure out, well, where do I find a successful man? What are some of the cities where the most successful men frequent? Now, if you live in, somewhere in rural America, if you're down in the countryside somewhere, then you may not find as many high-profile brothers as you could find if you were living in a major metropolitan city. If you were living in San Francisco or LA or New York, then you might be much more likely to find certain hotshot guys there rather than being in the middle of the nowhere and you're in the boondocks somewhere talking about you want to find a successful man. You've got to put yourself in the right location. And again, this goes far beyond just trying to attract the right person. This also deals a lot with business, because when you're trying to find customers, you need to find out where the right customers are located, and then you need to start promoting your products there. Okay, guys? I really want y'all to understand that when we talk about marriage and finding the right partner, that really is no different than the fundamentals that everything that has to do with business and marketing. You got to know what you want. You got to know how to market yourself, and you got to know your execution plan on how to take yourself from where you are now to where you want to be. Okay. Shout out to my sister, LA for Life. That's on. I see you, my sister. I see you. Shout out to LA for Life. Shout out to LA for Life. One of the top sponsors that is on this broadcast. For those of y'all that really love this broadcast and you want to see things continue to move forward, please give a super chat. All you got to do is tap that dollar icon directly below the live chat box, and then I'll make sure that I give you a shout out. Also, if you want to donate through Cash App or PayPal, all you got to do is hit the links in the description below. Now, y'all know the brother Yasha Allah is a fan favorite on here, so I'm going to bring my brother Yasha Allah on. I want to see what my brother Yasha Allah got to say about this broadcast. Yasha Allah, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great, big brother. I'm feeling great. Shalom, shalom.
Good to see you, my brother. How you liking the show setup, man? You liking the sound effects? You liking where we trying to take this thing?
Yes, I almost missed you because I didn't get no alert till later on. I'm looking for the time. I'm trying to take my nap. Now I got to raise my naps. You know what I'm saying?
There
To
you go.
catch
There you
on.
go.
Like, I kept doing this. You like, you know what I'm saying? But
Yes, sir.
but but you're correct. The show's good. You're correct. Because I drive a truck, and I know certain towns. The first thing women do, they look for certain things. Oh, you drive a truck? I'm like, yeah. And they hit on you. They target you. That's the way it is. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. I live in Savannah. It's a truckers town, military town, and they hit on even military. And
Right.
military don't make a lot of money at all when you first go in. But I learned one thing is a lot of women are looking for stability. Period. Stability. They know it's there. They know they can. If they got medical for the children, themselves, education, etc., etc. You know what I mean, and
Yes,
stuff
sir.
like that. And and women overseas like Asia. I tell sisters, like you said, Asian women, their game is up there. They put themselves in that, like you said earlier, to get that. They know
So,
what to look for.
okay. I like that you said that part right there on they know what to look for, because one of the major things that I was going to tell the audience about was the importance of research. Like, we're going over this 3-step process on how to find successful men. If you're just now joining tonight, we're talking about, are successful men hard to find? Make sure you smash that like button. When we talk about, are successful men hard to find, you got to understand where these successful men are located and how you make yourself attractive to them. Now, the most important thing out of this entire process is research, okay? Because if you don't know where to find these guys, then how are you ever going to attract them? Now, when you talked about the Asian women right there, Yasha Allah, would you say that the reason why you think that they're doing a stand-up job of finding successful men is because they've done research on where to go to find these men?
Yes, they done research, and their mothers teach them. They know the market. They know because they ask questions. How old are you? Where you live? What kind of job you got? Because they're doing their homework too, and they believe in certain ways as a woman. They make sure they in shape. They can't over 125 pounds for them is called fat for them. Period. That's the first thing they tell you. They believe in that. You know what I mean? They live that. Actually live that. They'll starve themselves if they get 126. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
You know what I mean? And they taught that. You know what I'm saying? And they taught also majority of no young men. They're taught that.
So they look for older men.
Right. 20, 40, 50. They said no young men. There's no stability in young boys. They tell you, but they're taught that, you know what I mean? And everything else. So
to touch on that, I think that all goes into that education aspect, right? When we talk about you try to find these men, see, a lot of our sisters, they just say, okay, well, I want the man. But you don't have no idea on what this man look like, where this man shops, alumni events, what kind of colleges and universities do these men go to, and what type of alumni events can you find them at? A lot of times we say, there's no successful men around, but is it that there's no successful men around, or you just don't know where to find them because they're not in your circle? One of the biggest, I think, challenges that we tend to find in our lives is the danger of putting yourself too deep into the wrong atmosphere. When you put yourself too deep around the wrong circle, you tend to think that the entire world operates like that. For example, if you grew up in the hood, you might have a mindset that every Black person is broke. But that's only because the people around you were broke. So because everybody around you in your inner circle was broke, it puts a lens on life that you think that everybody that looks like you is broke, which in actuality is false. So that's the reason why I'm saying, Yasha Allah, like there's so many of our sisters that'll say, okay, well, I want this or I want that, but you don't actually take the time to write down exactly what it is that you want, what he looks like, and then doing the research on where he can be found. So, what are some of the things that you think a lot of sisters should focus on in terms of researching successful men specifically?
Number one is find out what their success is for them. If they find that out, it's a lot easier to narrow down. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? They might, hey, I want a $5 million man. You got to put your game up. Your game got to be way up there. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And then when you look, to me, I've been in the military and travel and been travel a lot. I got to experience a lot of people, a lot of customs, and how they grow up.
Yes.
So I'm multicultural in a lot of things, even music. You can't just be rap music. That's all you know.
Right. You got to broaden your horizon.
Right. I know jazz, blues, rock, country. You know what I mean? All that. You know what I'm saying? Because they learn that. I'm looking at that. They learn what you're doing. They learn how you dress. He dressed this way. He like this. Foods you like, what you eat. And also I learned that they're not trying to be smart as you. That's not their goal. You know what I'm saying? Their goal is, hey, I don't mind taking care of the house. As long as I'm taken care of, I'm looking good for him, I'm satisfied. If he needs me to do something, I'll do it. You know what I mean? So here, they got to find what they really want in life. Because they don't find that, or what kind of man succeed, and 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because the average in America age of marriage, especially among us, is how many years? 2 years, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. The average black marriage is 5 years.
You see what I'm saying? So, and when I grew up, it was less than that. I'm sorry. It was just 2, 3. And I did the same thing, 2, 3. Nah, it's not going to work out. When I was young, you know what I mean? But they try not to compete. What's good for you is not good for somebody else. Right. You know what I mean? For success or money-wise or whatever. Because I didn't, around my father, around a lot of business people, like you said earlier, you know what I mean? I was in the streets, but I'm still with my father. I'm picking things up. Right. And like you said earlier, I'm listening to how they talk, how they interact, and then everything else. But my mind was like, hey, Dad, I want to go jet to the club. But I was still listening. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I mean? And he always said, listen, what good is you getting a woman if she can't bring her own fork and knife to the table, kitchen table?
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Now you really setting up this chat for where I'm about to go with this conversation next. When we talk about step 3. Now, I just want y'all to know we got Sister Anika in the house too. And I'm very, very excited to have a conversation with her on this topic.
Yes, I have to comment on that for the ladies.
Yes, I'm a bring you back in in 2 minutes. I just wanted everybody online to know it's going down tonight.
It is.
And I just want y'all to tune in. Make sure that you smash that like button. Make sure that y'all donate because we're about to get it popping. Now, let me talk about step 3 real quick, just before I bring the guest back on, okay? You've got to execute on your plan. Once you've identified what kind of man you want, you've identified and researched where these types of men are located, you now have to go through an execution plan of putting yourself in that environment, okay? So if I want to be around successful entrepreneurs, I need to start researching what are the top entrepreneur conferences? Where are some of the cities where high profile entrepreneurs are located? And how do I go to certain mastermind sessions and meetups? I cannot stay in the same place that I am and expect different results. This is the definition of insanity. Okay. So once you start identifying what you want and the location on where to find them, that's when you got to get your execution plan going. And guys, this will maximize your chances of actually coming in the presence of successful men and walking away with results, okay? Because you want to increase the likelihood of you finding successful men. If right now your likelihood of finding a successful man is 1 out of 100, why not put yourself in an environment where it could be 1 out of 10? You see, if I want to find a millionaire, I could go down the street and it might be 1 out of 1,000, or I could go to Beverly Hills and everywhere I knock on the door, they are multimillionaires. Do y'all follow what I'm saying? By you being in the right environment, you're positioning yourself for success. So much of your success has to do with your environment. But now, once you are in that environment in step 3, the question is, how do you blend in with that audience? Are you the kind of person that other people would want around them? I'm saying specifically within that circle. You might be cool amongst, everybody else that's in the land of average. But once you start getting around all these high profile people, do you know how to talk the talk? Do you know how to be able to provide value to them? There's so many of us, that seek out mentors, coaches, business partners, and other forms of training. And we say, oh, well, if you could just help me out, that would be greatly appreciated. But you won't have other people help you until you're in a position to help them. And it's not about matching what they have. It's about assessing the things that they want and need and helping them with that. So again, if you guys are looking for somebody to serve as a mentor, then why don't you offer that person a helping hand? I always say this, and even Yasha Allah said this. One of the reasons why so many people are not making more money is because they don't work for wealthy people for free. You don't work for wealthy people for free because you think, oh, well, if I'm working, I need to get paid. But just by you being in the presence of somebody that built wealth from the ground up, if you can see and understand what they do every single day, then you'll have the blueprint on how to do it for yourself. If you were just shadowing a multimillionaire for a good month, imagine what type of gems you'd be able to walk away with and say, okay, when I go back, this is exactly what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to set myself up. But most people never position themselves that way. And that's the reason why it's hard for them to attract those kinds of people. Another thing that a lot of y'all really need to be up on in terms of networking is taking high profile people to lunch. The most successful person that you know, take them to lunch, cover the tab. I don't care if you don't have a lot of money, because the ROI is going to come back to you on what you get from the conversation. But there are so many of y'all that want to be held by the hand, and you think, oh man, will you just help me? I don't have anything else to offer you, but will you just feel bad for me and treat me like a charity case? That's not the way it works. You got to put yourself in a position where you say to yourself, hey, you know what? I may not be as wealthy as this other person, but I've got my time. I've got my diligence. I've got my energy to offer. I know that this person is somebody about their business. Before I go and ask them anything, I'm going to now give myself value to them. I'm going to give I'm going to look within myself to see what value it is that I have to offer another person. I'm going to offer that value to them. And in exchange, they're going to return the favor. And that's the reason you'll see situations like when I'm out with LA for Life, when I'm working with Yasha Allah, when I'm working with all these different people, you'll tend to notice sometimes just based upon the value that they give to me, I'll say to them, hey, here's a free consultation that's on the house. You never asked me for this, but because you've provided me value, I'm now going to give you value in return. But because we live in a society that's so much take, and we never give, this is the reason why we're without. If you just spent more time giving, it would come back to you because you reap what you sow. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for the successful men, ladies, and you're looking to see, oh man, is this going to be the right guy to be my husband? What value do you have to offer him? You might have been very elaborate about what you want from him, but the question now is, what does he want from you? Because if you have not applied step 3, and started to execute by delivering your value upon being amongst the right person, then even you could meet the right person, but you're not the right person for them. You have to be the right person for them, just like they're the right person for you. Otherwise, it's going to fail. And brothers, if you're trying to look to level up and put yourself in the presence of other men that are movers and shakers, instead of you just sitting there being thirsty, find out what are the things that you have to offer them. Is it a helping hand? Is it your time? Is it your labor? What value do you provide? Don't just think about what you can take. Think about also what it is that you can give. And if you can apply those 3 steps in order, you have a much better chance of attracting and securing successful men. They are not that hard to find. It's just that we haven't been following the right process in order to attract them. Now, I'm going to bring my sister Anika back on, and I want to see what you think about this subject. Are successful men hard to find? And I want you to give me your take.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, thank you for this great topic. And okay, so to answer your question, are they hard to find? I don't think so. But before you even said these steps, it's something that I followed. I moved out of the hood. I moved to a suburban area because I know that, like you said, I'm the average of the 5 people who I hang out around.
Correct.
And also just the environment in the suburbs is safer for me. So I get what you're saying about being in proximity to successful men, because now I go down the street, I go to the store, like I live amongst millionaires, so it's not a problem for me. But before I moved out of the hood, I would have said my answer would have been different.
Yes.
Right?
So real quick on that, I don't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to make sure that everybody captured what you just said right there. You find that it's much easier to be in the proximity of successful men and millionaires based upon your environment,
Yes.
rather than you staying where you grew up, because back then you would have thought that it was a lot harder than it actually is.
Yeah. If you had asked me when I was living in the hood if it was easy for me to find a successful, or if successful men were hard to find, I would have said yes. My answer would have been different. So you are right in that your proximity to these successful men matters.
Yes.
And also what Yasha Allah was saying about Asian women and women of different cultures who are hip into the game. Their parents school them. Hey, they're very much more okay. It's probably gonna be a controversial topic, because when you're dealing with, men and women and relationships, it always has a tendency to be controversial. They have no problem women of other races. I am in Toronto, and it's very multicultural. I have a lot of friends of different races. They're okay with dating successful men. They don't think it's gold digging. They don't think it's, and not to say that we're here digging gold, but
Right.
there don't, like, I think in our community, we have this thing where if I say I would like to date a successful man, a lot of us sometimes are ashamed because it's like, oh, you got to build this man up. Don't leave him. You know, if the man is in jail, we're supposed to go to jail, bring them commissary.
Right.
When you're a college educated woman, right? Like, it's okay for you to want somebody who's on your level and who's also, you know what I mean, on a trajectory to being successful if they're not already successful and established. So I do agree with what Yasha Allah was saying. A lot of other women of other races, their parents school them and put them in proximity to successful men. I have a friend who is not of my same race. She's a white lady, but her mom put her in as a volunteer in a hospital because she wanted her to marry a doctor.
Wow.
And she ended up marrying a doctor. And
Okay.
they have no shame. No, my mom told me I needed to work here because she wants me to marry a doctor. And so said, so done. So I think it's great that you're saying we should put ourselves in the proximity to dating men who are successful. We also need to get rid of that mentality of, oh, you know, like it's shameful to date a successful man, or we feel guilty if we're dating a successful man because we're leaving men who have chosen other paths,
Right.
you know, in life behind. So I agree with the proximity, but we also need to get comfortable being in those environments and
Right.
speaking to those men, because we as Black women, we deserve it.
Well, let me throw this in here. Let me throw this in here. And I see all of my sisters are in the house for some strange reason. All the sisters are in the house. Y'all are all here to be able to get the tea on this episode. Make sure that y'all are donating and supporting your boy as you're getting the tea, y'all. All right. Make sure that y'all give a super chat, or please donate through Cash App or PayPal. All right. I want to talk a little bit about your statement about college educated women. I graduated from Baylor University, the largest Baptist university in the world, right? This is a top 100 school. And one of the things that was distinctly different with Black culture versus the white culture on campus is that the Black culture that was there was very focused on academics and partying. And even though you could say the same about the white culture that was there, one of the things that was very big at Baylor was the MRS degree. One of the things that was constantly said about a lot of the girls that went to Baylor, mainly of other races, was that they were coming here not just to be able to get a professional degree. They were coming also to get their MRS degree. They were coming to find their husbands. That's the reason why their parents was paying $100,000 in their tuition to put them in the right network of other successful families. But see, for a lot of us, we just think, oh, okay, I'm going to college, I better make good grades then. You know, we don't think outside the confines of the classroom beyond the party. All we focus purely on is that college experience. You know, Ariel, who also went to Baylor, and I just want to point this out, even when it comes to our marriage, had it not been for Ariel and I both going to this university, we would not have met each other. So when we talk about finding successful men, you have to put yourself in the right environment. But see, again, even with that, you know, you talked a little bit earlier, Sis Anika, about college educated women looking for men that are on their level. Well, that also comes with implications as well, because if you are really trying to attract a successful man, then chances are that man, if he's a certain leader, he may be a little bit more established in some ways than you. This is what brought Yasha Allah into saying this is why other cultures would look for men that are older men. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times with sisters, again, because a lot of sisters have not been educated, they'll look and say, oh, okay, well, how do I find somebody on my same level? How do I find somebody to match what I'm doing? But other cultures, they're not looking for nobody to match them. They're looking for somebody to exceed, so that way they can fall back and then let the man take the lead. But real quick, I want to give a couple quick shout outs. Shout out to my sister Ariel. Y'all know Ariel is in the house. Shout out to my sister Ariel from Louisiana for that $10 super chat. Thank you so much, my sister. All right. Thank you so much for all of the support. Really appreciate you keeping this show on air. Also, I want to give a big shout out to my sister, Sheer Queen. She's showing some love tonight, y'all. She's showing some love. Thank you so much for all of the support. All right. Thank you, guys. Continue to smash that like button. Make sure that you share this with a friend. And guys, if you like where the show is going and how we keep pouring into it, then please donate. Okay. As y'all should know, I always give a shout out to all of the sponsors, but whoever the highest donor is for tonight's broadcast, whoever has the highest sponsorship, that will be the official sponsor of tonight's broadcast. So my question is this: who's going to be the official sponsor of the Are Successful Men Hard to Find broadcast? That who's gonna put their stamp on that one? You know, this don't happen every day, y'all. So if you want to have y'all's name on this one, then please make sure that you donate. Ariel says, you are speaking the truth. Dads would tell their daughters to use the college environment to network and find a good man for marriage. See, this is heavy, Sister Nika, because like I said, you know, for me and my wife, who both went to college, I was very fortunate because of that, because it's rare to be able to find a woman, especially who talks about education, that's not already saddled with a lot of student loan debt. Now, it just so happened that Ariel's father was a very successful salesman in the software industry and had paid off her college tuition. A lot of brothers cannot do that. So just by virtue of being in the right environment, that exposed me to a whole different arena of Black women than I would have been exposed to when I was just in LA alone. I mean, there was all different kinds of cultures there, but my point is, your environment, I mean, that really is half the battle, you know.
I just want to say something real quick. Yeah, I just want to say two things real quick. Number one, and this could be another show for a different time, but we need to, when we're speaking about things of this nature, we need to also consider the socialization, right? I can speak from the space of a Black woman. A lot of us are socialized to be independent. The college experience is not about going there to get an MRS degree. It's about to go there to get your bachelor's, then your master's, then, you know, all those steps. You know, they teach us to be independent. They teach us, you know, make sure you have something of your own. Nothing is wrong with that, right? But I feel like we're not taught the importance of having a partner. We're not taught the importance of building with somebody. We're not taught the importance of marriage. And so what I noticed, what happens to a lot of Black women is that we're very professionally decorated. Like we have degrees, we have all of that, you know, and we listen to what they told us, which is go get your education, go build a name for yourself, go get a good job. Everybody tells us that, but nobody really, and I'm speaking for me and a lot of the Black women that I know, nobody really tells us about, okay, so make sure you find a husband and settle down. That's also very important. It's like basically enforced on us since I was a little girl, and my mom and my dad were married, right? So even coming from a two-parent household, the importance of being independent was instilled in me. And then when I graduated from college and I got my good job, everybody's asking me, where's your husband and kids? But you guys never told me anything about that. So I just want to let you know that a part of this could be our socialization as well. A lot of us are realizing in our late 30s that, hey, there's another part to this picture. It's not just going to college, getting a degree, becoming independent. And sometimes it may be too late when we figure that out. So I don't know if any other of the women in the chat have this same socialization, but for me and my girls, it's like we can all tell you the same story, right? And then another thing for me is not only putting yourself in proximity to successful men, being comfortable speaking to them and knowing that you're just as worthy as them because you do bring value. But for me, it's about becoming the woman that a man like that would find attractive.
Right.
You know, it's the becoming, having my own thing going on, having my own career, having that essence. And so I think it's a two-part, because what good is it going to be for you to put yourself into proximity with the, you know, successful established men if you don't feel like you yourself are going to add value and you're worthy of that type of men. So that is what I would like to add to this conversation.
Thank you so much for adding that, my sister, and stay on, because I definitely want us to have some good talk on this. This is a very, very, very hot topic, and I think that this is definitely going to warrant a part 2, ladies. Okay, and you got a lot of supporters in the comments section, ain't that right, Nicole P? You got a lot of sisters that are really vibing with what you're saying. It's like you're in their window right now. It's like you're the advocate, you know, so they're cheering you on, sis. But let's talk about this. Make sure that y'all smash that like button. I agree that I think where this whole thing starts is the narrative that we tend to give off within our culture. Right. I don't know how things were for you, but for me, you know, growing up in South Central LA, there was a very strong narrative that men ain't ish. You know, that, you know, you're gonna be just like your father. You know what I mean? There was a lot of negative imagery about men. And because of which that kind of evolved into a lot of women being molded to be more independent, thinking that, okay, I'm never going to depend on a man to do or provide anything because I've always been told from my upbringing, you know, don't rely on a man because then you're going to be stuck. Then you're going to be, you know, he's going to cheat on you. He's going to dog you out. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And one thing that I really think is important, especially for our culture specifically, is that we fail to realize sometimes that was a culture that we tend to learn beginning in slavery. Like when you go back and read the Willie Lynch letters, one of the primary objectives was to put the man in a state of dependency upon a woman and make the woman lose her natural dependency on the man. You know, back in the day where, you know, a man might have been sold off to another plantation somewhere, the woman had to have enough strength to be able to hold things down for herself and her kids. And I think on some level, we're still seeing the effects of that all these years later. Now, let me also talk about that, however, because I'm not saying that just because of what happened way back when, that we play the victim. I'm more so speaking in the perspective of mindset. I think that one of the biggest challenges that a lot of our people, especially sisters, have when it comes to this category is the mindset on the outlook regarding successful men. So let me give an example. You know, I married my wife at 23 years old. And both of us didn't come from backgrounds just like you, where we got a world of education on, you know, how the woman is supposed to act as a woman, what the things that the man is supposed to do, what he's supposed to have established. We didn't really learn that until we were already married and already living life, right, as adults. But one of the things that I always tell my wife is that had I been like extremely well established before I met you, I would have had a totally different outlook on how I would have perceived you as a person. What I mean by that is, you mentioned a little bit earlier about building with a man, right? Well, for Ariel, who married me at 23, she's meeting me right at the start of my building phase. So something like that would apply. But had she met me and I was already established, I already had money, I don't think that I would have been as open to some of the same conversations that we had when I didn't have that much. You see what I'm saying? Like a lot of times me and Ariel talk a lot about business. Like as soon as we get off this show, we're going to have a conversation. Hey, what did you think about the show?
Yeah.
You know, how did you think the broadcast went, this, that, and the third? But if you meet a man, let's just say, and he already has
Yeah.
100,000 subscribers, he already has, you know, a well-established platform going, then chances are the conversation with that man may shift from business to, okay, well, help me unwind. I've had a long day. You know, let's have more of a dialogue that will help me kind of unwind from all of the pressures of the day in business, rather than we're looking to each other trading notes about, you know, a business venture. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is, see, if you know that much alone, then that can really anchor you towards how you approach a man in general. You see, if you're a sister and you're looking for a man that's up and coming, then okay, I'm looking to build right alongside you. That energy may go well, right? It may be more compatible.
Right.
But if you say, okay, well, you know what? I want to find a successful man, because oftentimes, and you notice, Anika, a lot of ladies complain that, you know, I want somebody that's doing better than me. You know, the man that I'm with, he doesn't make decisions. It's like I have to be the man in the relationship. Like if you want somebody who's leveled up, then to some extent, you're going to have to wear different hats for that man, because his prominence may have you more in a capacity of, okay, I'm already over here getting money. So I want to make sure you're taking care of things at the house. I want to make sure that you're building things associated with our legacy. You see what I'm saying? If I'm already playing a certain role professionally, I'm already holding that down. So I need you to hold down something else. But sometimes I think, at least in terms of what I've witnessed as a successful man, when I engage with different sisters, I think sometimes that they don't realize that your engagement with a man is only as good as where you found that man at that time. If you find an average man, or if you have a history of dealing with average men, that the energy that you brought there and how you process how a man operates is going to be totally different than how a man of success operates. My wife, she could not tell you anything about what bills we have for this house. She couldn't tell you, you know, a lot of the things that happen behind the business side of things. She just will have, I'll just take care of that all by myself. And I just think that, see, if we can map out the exact kind of guy that we're looking for, we then have to look for an energy that corresponds with the needs of that particular man, and make sure that the energy that we're bringing is compatible with that, rather than you're looking for a successful man, but you still have, I'm used to dealing with average man energy. Does that make sense?
Okay, I get what you're saying, but I'm still trying to kind of pinpoint. Do you find that a lot of us, because we've been dealing with a lot of dusties? Sorry, I don't
No,
know
no,
any
no.
better
I
word.
like that. I like that. I like that. Shout out to Anika saying she used to dealing with dusties.
But are you saying that we're having a lot, like, are we having difficulty digesting that we need to be in a more subdued, relaxed position when we're dealing with more established men? Or are you saying that we're having a hard time switching from being in our masculine provider energy and resting? Is that what you're saying we're having a difficulty doing? I'm just trying to understand exactly what you say when you're saying that the
All of,
energy that we're bringing, like what
yeah.
energy are you?
Okay. All of the above. Let me give you an example. When I first met my wife for the first year in marriage said, and don't get mad at me, Ariel. This is just for the learning of the ladies. She said, I'm not in this relationship to kind of be alongside you. I'm in here to compete with you.
Okay.
So what she meant was, she was so used to kind of going down a certain corporate path. She was used to having been with guys that may not have had many ambitions, or guys that were not looking to settle down and establish families. She had already kind of gone down a certain path where she was used to having her own independence. She never thought that she would get married.
Right.
And so when we met, she was very impressed by what I brought to the table. But the thing was, because she was so used to still being in that independent mode, even though she had a consciousness of my dominance, it was still hard for her to give a compatible energy, because she was already so accustomed to the latter. You see what I'm saying? So if certain situations, let me give an example. I might have gotten pulled over by the cops. Cop pull up, she start talking. I'm like, yo.
Right.
I'm the man. I'm the one that's going to be talking. No, fall back. This is what the men do. But see, she was so used to, okay, well, I have to take the lead and take charge, that by the time that you actually get in front of a male leader, you don't necessarily know how to operate within that capacity, not because you don't appreciate it or it's not what you're looking for, but rather that, you've built a life operating a certain type of way for so long, that as soon as you meet someone that you actually want to be with, you bring all of the other habits along with you. You know what I mean? It's just like any other thing in terms of success. If you start getting in front of 5 or 6 millionaires, but you've been spending all of your time around people that, don't have any jobs, you're going to just start saying things, and you might think you're saying something, but people are going to look at you and be like, no, this person is not so much in the circle. So it's just a transitional process from, okay, this is what I was used to doing with the guys that I were used to being with, as you said, the Dusties, to, oh, damn, I'm not with a Dusty no more. Now, how do I step in the right frame? Does that make sense?
It makes sense. And I can see where we as a lot of us Black women, we do need to make that adjustment into kind of matching the energy that is needed. We're not, a lot of us are not, we didn't grow up with that, right? I grew up with my dad, so I can kind of switch between, like, I know when to turn down and off, but a lot of us are not used to it. And that's something that I think we can work on. Because you're right. A lot of times, a lot of established successful men, they don't want to come home to, like, the masculine male energy. I think a lot of us are tired though, and we want to be rested and just, okay, I can take care of the home. Let us, we're getting to that point where independence, it's good for a certain point, but when you get to a certain age, you really do want to just, rest and do other things that may, that, like you said, take care of the home and have other conversations, right? That's not grind, hustle, money, business, so I think a lot of us are open to that. And I do also agree with you in that we do have some unlearning to do in terms of, like, our mannerisms and how we interact with successful establishment. Our code switch needs to happen. And I think hopefully we're sisters. Are we open to working on that? I think
LA for life says, right. Yes. You got to know when you're in the presence of a king. And, one thing that I do want to point out, ladies, when you actually find the successful man that you want to attract, that's going to be the hardest job you've ever had in your life. I'm bringing this up because there's a big idea and concept around women that, oh man, I'm so tired of working hard and hustling because, the working world is just killing me. But when you get out in front of that man that can be able to take you out of that working world, oh, just know that's going to come with a lot of work too. Like when you think about women that are with, high profile guys, that requires a lot of effort. So I know we've been on here for a minute. We're going to have to definitely part two this.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Anika, for being on.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to see you again, my sister.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right now. So y'all, this has been incredible. Yasha Allah, I'm going to bring you back in because I wanted to touch on another part, you know what I mean? But I didn't want to hold Anika up all day. If y'all sisters are really talking about it, maybe y'all could come on the camera and y'all could tap in as another ambassador for the ladies if you really about that life. Or are you going to leave our sister Anika hanging? But I really do like that sister, man. I thought that she spoke well. And I really, really, really appreciated her having her on the show. Now, one thing that she did say, and Anika, you can come back on if you want to talk about it. She talked about how getting the successful man that Black women deserve. I'm taking this thing 10,000 feet above just Black women and attracting men. In life, I think that we have a big challenge whenever we have the I deserve mentality. Now, I'm not saying that specifically for Anika because we can see that this is a sister that, is a go-getter. She's willing to learn. She's very receptive, have a certain agreeableness. I'm not saying this about her specifically. I'm saying this about how sometimes people can interpret and process things in general. Every last one of us, when we talk about health, wealth, love, legacy, we must understand that when we talk about all of these high-level things, we don't deserve anything. And the reason why I say that way specifically is because there are so many entitled people in this world that feel like they don't have to do nothing to change themselves. Everything should just come to them automatically because they feel I deserve it. You don't deserve it. You got to continue to keep working hard and then it will come. Now, again, like I said, if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to hustle, then okay, you know what? Some of the things that you do work for, you will receive. But there are so many brothers, and I'm talking about a lot of brothers that have been raised by women. They may have a mindset that, okay, you know what? Just do it for me because I'm me. Just because I'm pretty, just because I can talk a certain type of way, just because I got the gift of gab, lay it in my lap. Ain't nobody coming to lay nothing in your lap. You got to go hard for everything that you want to do. Ladies, if you want to find a successful man, you got to go hard. And you got to go harder than all of the other women that are alongside you, because chances are they're competing for the exact same man. Okay, when I was getting into a marriage with Ariel, there were at least 5 other women at the time that was trying to put their bid in. So you got to think about, and I was 23 at the time. I'm not even talking about once I was well established in my career, well established in my church, just being a successful Black man on any level gives you an opportunity to pick and choose. So what I'm saying is, ladies, if you're looking for the successful man, if you're looking for any form of success in life, you got to disconnect yourself from the notion that it should already come to you and you have to go to it. And if you have yet to find it, that means that you got to keep seeking. Okay. So just wanted to put that out there. I know my sister Anika's still on. She might want to hop back in on the conversation. If you do, just raise your hand because I can see you on the camera in the waiting room. But okay, she's back on. Yasha Allah, give me some feedback. I'm a 3-way y'all on. Okay, since none of the other sisters want to come and defend Sister Anika, we gonna do a 2-on-1 right here. We're gonna tag team this thing. You gotta tell Shea Queen and LA for Life and Nicole P. Y'all sisters left me hanging. You gotta even tell Ariel, y'all left me hanging. Yasha Allah, what do you think about what I was just saying?
You and Sister Anika are correct. Brothers, like I said, you gotta know what you really want. And there's nothing wrong with that. I got my younger daughter. Now I tell her, listen, you ain't getting no broke, Nick. That's not gonna happen.
Right.
It's not gonna happen. You're not marrying anybody since we're in the truth. If I die, you know what I'm saying? Guess what? You got Elder Uzziah and them. You got the other brothers. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be the same rule. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that at all. No man should want that for his daughter. I'm sorry. No man. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things you were saying, I have a lot of mother in me because I was back and forth, but I catered more to my grandfather and my father. So I'm saying, if a woman can't cook for me, bye. You got to go. She got to know what man really wants. Like you said, put yourself on that pole. If I want him, I got to find out what he really likes.
But Yasha Allah, why would you? I'm okay. I'm the woman. Why you gonna put me to the side, Yasha Allah? I got a job too. I got a career too. I am bringing that to the table, Yasha Allah.
I don't care nothing about your job. I do all right. That's the way it is. My father taught me that. You know what I'm saying? So, it doesn't bother me because my like Sister Nigga said, if you're around certain people, you pick up a lot of those habits in your environment. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I want you to look a certain way. I'm like Eddie Murphy. If your feet, your pedicure, I'm sorry, it gotta be done right for me. And your manicure, I'm sorry. Certain things. So you have to know what you really want. I mean, what attracts this person here or make you attractive? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a go-getter. I can do it myself, wash my own clothes, cook a little bit. But I love a sister's cooking. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
But you're saying something real quick on that, Yasha, and I just gotta cue you in because I know our sister Anika is here and she waiting to hop in. She waiting. But I really like her having the opportunity to take in what both of us are saying, because when you made the statement about a woman's feet and her appearance, it takes so much work and time a lot of times for a woman to upkeep herself in such a royal way. You know what I mean? I remember I was in corporate America one time and there was this CEO, this high-level executive at another Fortune 500 company that we were doing business with. And she was telling us during this meeting that she had balded her head. And she said the reason why she went bald is because as a corporate executive, she didn't have time to be kind of trying to get herself all dolled up in the mirror, like some women do in the morning. She just had to get up and go exactly as she was. And the reason why I'm bringing this out is because I tend to notice a lot of times if sisters are not conscious of it, like if they don't recognize this, you could be so busy kind of moving to and fro that the exact pampering that a man would look for from a woman may be discredited, whether it's through your hair, whether it's through your nails, whether it's through your physique and your appearance. Like those things take time, you know what I mean? And so I just think that it's so interesting to hear another man say this, because everything that you're speaking on is largely appearance based. And I remember, I'm gonna put it out there. A lot of times I would tell my wife the same thing, and she'd be like, "Oh, you must think that you done married a model. You must think, who has the time to do all of this modeling type stuff? You know what I mean? When I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, you got to wear a lot of different hats." So I close off on that statement, and I'm gonna bring Sister Anika in. Nicole P wants to let you know she didn't leave you hanging, sis. She says she's just trying to keep peace in her home, so that's the reason why you out in the cold right now. So You know, just know, sister, you know, even if your
I
sister
hear
want
you.
to offend you, we still gonna love on you over here, sister. You're in good hands. Brother Yasha Allah, what you got for us? Hey, real quick. I'm sorry, brother Yasha Allah. All this entertainment that y'all been getting, and the last time we got a super chat was at 9:05 p.m. Central. It's been 30 minutes since we got a super chat. Come on, y'all. Let's get this thing going, man. If you love tonight's broadcast, if you're loving the energy, please make sure that you super chat. All you got to do is tap the dollar icon directly below the live chat box. Okay. We still want to see who's going to be the official sponsor for tonight's broadcast. Whoever has the top donation for tonight's broadcast will be the official sponsor. But even if you're not vying for the top spot in tonight's broadcast, please donate something, y'all, to keep the show going. If you're watching this broadcast after the live stream is over, you can still donate through Cash App or PayPal. Just click the information, the links in the screen, okay, in the description. So Yasha Allah, we back to you, man. What were your thoughts on what it was that we just talked about?
And like you said, a lot of women want to compete with you. I've seen it for myself. They look at you, they see what you're doing, they see your crib. It's like, you live by yourself? Like, yes. What do you mean? It's so neat. Listen, I got my father, military, my father, my stepmother, my sisters. You know what I'm saying? So you grow with that. I like that.
Right.
I like being neat. Except for the garage, if it's mine, that's my garage. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I like being neat. It's the military. You know what I'm saying? So she has to understand that. I'm not going to sit and wait on you to wash my clothes. I don't do that. I never have. I wash my own clothes. I wash everybody else's clothes. I'm going to do my own ironing. If I got to tell you to do it, it's too late for me. Because I've been on the go for a long time. You see what I'm saying?
So
you know
she
what I mean?
got to already know. She got to already know how to roll.
Right. And they go, well, let me do it. Okay, fine, do it. But if you don't do it at a certain time, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to ask you. It's already done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I can't sit and wait for you to get ready when I know it has to be done. You see what I'm saying? So they have to understand that part too. And that a man has also understand her too. But I know that's another show. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I need you to be on this page here for us me being on the go to come up, at least help me a little bit, because I don't care about your job, really. I don't. Because I had it before. I had the job. I had the ladies. I had, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? And I was taught that from my father. It doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. If you're a millionaire, don't get me wrong. It'll help. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But, you know, I want to be a certain place. And a man wants that. He should want that in his life. A lot of people don't want that in his life. But when you're raised to be on your go, you're constantly on the go. Don't hold me back. I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly thinking. I'm trying to move ahead.
So if I'm processing everything that you're saying that you are always out there trying to make things happen, and you want a woman that will support you to continue moving at your same pace or faster. You're not as concerned with someone who will slow you down, or someone that thinks that just because they have a career path themselves, that's what will make them the right fit for you. You're saying you're not as concerned about their career or the money that they make. It's not that you will turn the money down, but you value how they can support your process more than their own process. Is that correct?
That's correct, because that benefits us in the end.
You see,
not as an individual.
And I think that you bring up an incredible point, because I think a lot of times, you know, when modern marriages come together now, it's like two people that's just living in the same household. Like a lot of times when I counsel a lot of married couples, one of the biggest problems is they're two people saying that they're married on paper, but they, in terms of a mindset, they couldn't be farther apart, you know? And so real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Ramon Graham for giving a $15 Cash App. Thank you so much for that. Just want to give you a big shout out for that. We got another sponsor, y'all. All right, we got another sponsor. Also, I want to give a big shout out to Rodney Lawrence, my brother. My brother, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. We got another donation right there as well. Thank you for being a top sponsor on this broadcast. So, Sister Anika, you've heard it. You've heard men. Go get her men.
I
Men.
heard it and I held it.
Now, you can't front on Yasha Allah. Because this brother Yasha Allah, every night, he'll be the first one. $20 a show, $20, $25, $15. So clearly, he got some money to work with. You know, the brother runs his own trucking business. He's a credit repair specialist, and he's got he's got that older man vibe too that a lot of y'all ladies be talking about when y'all talk about not getting out here chasing these young boys. So you've got Yasha Allah saying something, you got me saying something, but I want to know how you feel about what was said.
So first and foremost, I feel like when you're in a relationship, you have to decide what it is that you want and what you're willing to compromise, right? And I think it's, once again, socialization in our community. Like, we're not like every when there's an issue, we just want to leave. We just want to, all right, like you were saying, Yasha Allah, okay, well, it's too late. You know, you have to understand that when you're a certain age, people have already come into themselves and it's kind of solidified. So when you're with a partner, sometimes you're going to have to tell the person, this is what I want, right? Because you're used to doing things your way. She's used to doing things her way. And not only that, you have to give people time to adjust, right? And I think that's very common in the Black community, where we just want to abandon people. And it's like, no, she could be a good person, but you have to give her time to come around. Just like nobody's 100% perfect. You're going to do things that she just doesn't like. And how would you feel if she just said, okay, well, it's too late? No. She's going to have to give you time to come around. So I think that's something that was a little bit like, I think, okay, that's something that can be worked on. And then the other thing is, with regards to the upkeep, right? As I said before, a lot of us Black women are socialized. I grew up in a 2-parent household, right? And even my dad told me, make sure I'm independent. Make sure I don't depend on a man for anything. And now I'm in my 30s and I have to unlearn that, right? So I can only imagine the 72 or 75% of Black families who grew up in single-parent households, where that was modeled for them, and they're probably they were probably told that too as well, that, you know, you can't depend on a man for anything. They were literally seeing that in a single-parent household. So that being said, in operating in your masculine energy and being the provider for yourself, and if you had a kid or two, you know, and you're a single parent, the last thing you're thinking about is going to the salon and getting your lashes individually put on, and going to get your manicure, and going to get your pedicure. Because you know what? Like Isaiah said yesterday when we were talking about motivation, your energy is finite. You don't have an unlimited amount of energy, but you may get up feeling motivated. By 12 o'clock, you're done. You know, if you cannot afford to go sit in a salon to pay somebody to do it for you, you're going to have to do it yourself. And that takes time and energy, which most people who are in, Black women who are in single parent households, they are the breadwinners. They don't have time to do that, right? So it is something, whereas I think it's a trade-off. If you want somebody who is going to be kept, you know, and she's going to have her manicure and pedicure, and when you come home, she's going to have that home cooked meal, which I don't think a lot of us, we don't have a problem doing that. It's just, we're also the breadwinners, and we're also working 80-hour weeks, right? Some of us are working 2 jobs to make sure our kids are taken care of. I personally don't have any kids, but I have to empathize for my sisters who do have kids. I'm like, how are y'all doing it, right? I don't have any kids, and I'm just trying to work on building my empire, and it's hard. So what I am saying is that you are going to have to step up in the role of provider if you want her to look, you know, all kept and have those manicure nails and the pedicure feet all the time. And the thing that I learned is a lot of established men, they don't mind taking care of, like Uzziah said, like, he takes care of the bills or whatever. I think that's what you said earlier in the household. Like, am I right or no?
Yeah, I was saying that I handle all of the bills so much to where my wife doesn't even know like what companies to contact to pay a bill. She never
Yeah,
has to worries about the bills being paid because she always knows that I'll take care of it.
yeah. And but my thing, what I'm saying is that when you're the person who's responsible for paying all those bills, your main priority is taking care of the bills. And so when you do come across an established man, um, not to say that you're just going to throw up your hands and have him pay all the bills, but I think the established men already understand that if they want the woman to be well kept and have those, which is very superficial, by the way. Like I think a lot of established men, I mean, yes, they want their women to look good, but I think there's a huge misconception that established men just want pretty women and arm candy. Like they really do want to have interesting conversation with their spouses,
Right,
you
that's
know.
true too.
And I
Right.
think I think there's this thing in Silicon Valley. I was reading a book where a lot of established men, there's this running joke where like which career is your wife gonna have to give up? Like whose wife is gonna give up the most interesting career? They don't want bimbos and people who are not educated. They want people who women who are sometimes they're established themselves because they want to have those conversations where you're sparring with your spouse and they want to have those interesting conversations, but they also understand that because they want a certain a certain conversation, like Isaiah said, when they come home, they don't want to be talking 100% business. They do understand that I'm going to have to be the provider and my wife is going to have to give up her interesting career. So
Right.
you can't have both, is what I'm saying. If you want that subdued, feminine, put together woman who's going to cook, because all of that takes time and energy, and you can't be doing business and taking care of, like, being in your masculine energy, taking care of the bills and also taking care of yourself. It's unsustainable. Even if you do it for a while, you won't be able to sustain it over a long period of time. So you as a provider have to understand, well, if I'm going to take care of all of the bills, I'm going to put her in a position where she can rest and she can have those home cooked meals ready. And a lot of us, let me tell you, because I'm in my 30s, my friends are in their 30s, we want to be home cooking the meals with the manicure nails and the pedicured feet. We're tired out here, right? So, but I do think it's a trade off. And as long as you don't mind providing and allowing us to rest, I think we're very eager to. Most of us are eager to do it. To just
Now let me hop in on this one. Y'all know I've been waiting. Y'all know I've been waiting. I'm ready to unleash. Let's get this thing going, man. This is an incredible topic, and part two on this is definitely coming. Um, I want to talk about three things. The first thing that I want to talk about is the work that needs to get done before you meet the person. Now, I really wish I'm surprised that Brother Roy the Chef wouldn't be on a broadcast like this because I see, Nicole P is all on here talking about how to keep the peace. I'm quite certain that he's either heard what we're talking about or she's relayed the message on what we're talking about. So I'm honestly shocked and appalled that we don't have Roy the Chef camming up on this. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick for anybody else that want to cam up. I'm giving y'all the link to cam up on the screen, okay? But now let's go back to the topic. Three things that I want to talk about. First, the work that has to be done, both on the male and female side. I agree with you completely. If a man is going to have a woman, be established in terms of looks and appearance and on a certain level of pampering, then that man needs to bring certain things to the table in order to receive and enable that kind of behavior. You see what I'm saying? One thing that I'm very big about, and some of y'all know this as well from having watched some of my marriage classes in my church. I always tell men, if you have not worked yourself into the position of being a high quality man, then do not expect to receive a high quality woman. Okay. you're going to find someone like yourself. Birds of a feather flock together. So if you don't have yourself together, don't expect for her to have herself together. And if there's certain things that you want from a woman, you need to make sure that you're the right type of man in order to attract that kind of woman, right? Because the woman that you men talk about, they're out there. The problem is they're just not checking for you because you don't do what you're supposed to do in order to find them, right? This goes both ways. So I'm a firm believer that both parties need some level of preparation before they end up getting into this kind of relationship that I'm speaking about. You know what I mean? Like you can start from square one, right? Like I did with REO. We got married when I was 23 years old. However, that honestly becomes a gamble for a lot of men. A lot of men, you don't know what you're going to get when you marry somebody that young. You know, God just blessed me with that. But a lot of men and women, like Sheer Queen is saying, there's a certain level of inner work that you got to do in order to get women what you want out of a man and man to get what you want out of a woman. Now, that brings me to the next point. I see you sisters are up here talking about a grace period, like we talking about paying a student loan, right? Okay, you talk about the grace period, and I'm gonna let you finish. But see, the way that the grace period works is you still have to come to the table with a certain foundation upon day one, right? So like when we talk about these different marriages, right? What it takes in order to be successful. My wife did not need to know everything about me from day one, but just like Yasha Allah was saying, when my wife and I were courting and she asked me, what do I want to eat? I responded to her and I said, you're going to be marrying me. You already need to know. She will tell you if she would get on this camera, but she's going to leave it to y'all in the comment section. I didn't spoon feed her the info. I'm the type of guy where if you're around me long enough, you're going to know that there's certain things I do and don't like. You don't even need to be my wife to know that. You just need to be around me. A lot of y'all watch the show long enough to just know just certain things about how I am. And so, you know, when it comes to my wife, for example, no, she didn't need to know all of the meals that I liked from the moment that I met her, right? There's a certain grace period for that. However, she did need to come with the mindset of having a willingness to learn. You know, I think some of our sisters, and I'm saying this because I've literally seen women say this on public broadcasts. I've seen some of our Black women say, well, can a Black man take me in and train me and coach me on how to be a woman? Sisters, I'm sorry. A successful man who is a prominent leader is not going to do that. That is a pipe dream. Just like you're not going to be a dime in terms of looks, then you're going to take, you know, some broke dude off the street and be like, just take me in, you know, just sleep with me as though I'm a 7-figure earner. No, you're not going to do that either, right? There's a certain foundation that you have to have. And if you meet those prerequisites, okay, now you're on to where a certain degree of grace comes. We're really giving out a lot of game tonight. For those of y'all that don't know this, there's a lot of key things y'all ladies need to be picking up on, because like the foundation represents you understanding the importance of having a man in your life in the first place. If you have to be sold on why a man should be on your life, nah, that's not for me. And also, you know, when you come with the foundation, it's okay, well, have you had a mother that's played this role before successfully as a wife to a husband? Have you been in the presence of having a father like LA for Life who you could already see, okay, if I have a man in my life, a man that's about his business is going to roll a certain way. If I gotta take you in and make a project out of you, I'm taking an L. And I'm gonna just put it out here just for myself personally. I can't speak for nobody else's marriage. My marriage is a business. And so when I think about my marriage from a business standpoint, when we come together as one within a merger, right? When I do my mergers and acquisitions, I'm saying, hey, I was already on this level right here before I met you. Now you're coming into the fold. I have to make a wise business decision to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to receive an asset and not a liability, but by making this business decision, as Yasha Allah said in his own language, you're not going to slow me down. We both saying the same thing in that regard. It might just sound a little bit different. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all the way down pat. But there does need to be a certain foundation that both men and women have in order to be attractive to the right person, in my personal opinion. Lastly, I'll say, we talk about looks, but you are right to some extent. When, like, for me, and this is a matter of a man's personal preference also. For me, I cannot be with a dumb woman, because there's inevitably going to be times in which I'm going to need my woman to do certain things on my behalf, and I need to make sure that she can do it with competence and not embarrass me. I'm just keeping it a buck. We're in the same household. We all win together. This is a legacy that is being established. And so Ariel will tell you there may be certain times. I'm gonna give you a prime example. I've been telling you guys this whole time about how I'm under contract for an investment property right now. As the show was going on last night, Ariel was on the phone with a realtor. I had to tell the realtor that we're investing with, I can't talk to you right now. I'm about to get on this broadcast. I said, Ariel, go and talk to this person. She had to do business on my behalf. And then she came and debriefed me on what she said. So that way, whenever I talk to the realtor again, we pick right back up on that conversation. Some men, they just want something nice to look at. Some men, they do want a little bit of arm candy, but I will say this. I think that sometimes in certain situations, some sisters, they use the intelligence that they have as a crutch to say, this is why I'm not going to give you a certain appearance. This is why I'm not going to strive to maintain a certain figure or give you a certain look. I'm going to tell you, ladies, I can't speak for every man, but I know for myself personally, you do have to have a brain, because there will be times where I may need certain things taken care of. But I'm not going to be happy just going off of your brain alone. There's going to be some times I'm going to want to enjoy myself. I'm going to want to like what I see. And so, sisters, you're going to have to wear certain hats. Even if a man can take you out of your 9-to-5 job, you're still going to have to wear a lot of different hats. You might have to play some hats on a business. You might have to play some things with the wife and kids. So you are going to have to come with different skills. That's my thoughts. Yasha Allah, you got any closing remarks? That's my closing remarks on the subject. We're going to pick back up in part 2 of this thing. Yasha Allah, what you got? And then Anika, we're going to close it out with you.
You're correct on that about having somewhat intelligence. But me, far as me, I like this here. You don't have to work full time. Because a woman never paid my bills. I'm 60. A woman has never paid my bills at all for any house. You know what I'm saying? Whatsoever, because I want you home to do certain things for the children and for the household. You see what I'm saying? You can work a part-time job, go to college. I'll pay for the college. But I need you home to make sure certain things are getting taken care of, which is the home. That's my main goal for me. Now, I don't know anybody else, but for me, I need you to do that part. You see what I'm saying? And other things. You know what I mean? Hey, I got this dog by my kennel. take care of the dogs on the road. This is the feeding times. This is when you let them out. I'll do the grooming, the toes, the nails, the training, all of it when I come home. But this must be done every day. And these are the commands to give. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't like that first at all. But they loved it after they saw the money start coming in. You see what I'm saying? They can go to the nail salon. You know what I mean? Go to get their hair done or pedicure done. Go shopping for the kids. Make sure the kids taken care of. You know what I mean? That's for me. You know what I'm saying? You mean if you want a career, I'm not gonna stop you getting a career, but you got to know where your priorities lie with me. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's just for me. Anybody else? I don't know. My dad was the same way. I got his habits, you know what I'm saying, and everything else. I want to be smart. I want to go to school, but your priorities, this comes first. You know what I mean? So I can be comfort that my family or my house is taken care of. Because I won't be. I'll be up all night like, this didn't get done. That didn't get done. This didn't get done. Why is this late? You see what I'm saying? And I won't blow a gasket because I can blow a gasket at times. You know what I'm saying? Because because I'm thinking about my family, the house, the family. And that's a lot of pressure on men. A lot of sisters don't know there's a lot of pressure on men. I'm trying to give you a good home. You know, you living in this big old house. I'm paying $18 for mortgage. You driving a dog on a nice car, $4,000 for a car. You got all kind of clothes that I'm not like that. I just want you to be comfortable and the children to be comfortable. So I'm saying, so that leads the stress off of you and me. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't understand that. That's a go-getter. He's a go-getter, period. And that's a lot of stress. Just like you, brother, Uzziah, if something happened, sister, she didn't do something, you're going to be kind of hot. Even one miss, because that can be a tragic.
Right.
And it'll be a whole after effect that's go downhill that you have to take care of 10 times to get it back in place again. So you can't afford it once you get to a certain point in your life. You can't afford that. I can't afford it.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Thank you so much for that input. Sister Anika, what you got to close us out?
Interesting. I'm scared of you blowing a gasket, that's for sure. Don't do that, No. Yes.
Who knows? Who knows? It can happen. Better watch out.
For me, my closing remarks is just basically, I think it's just all about balance. We don't have to go so far in one direction or the other.
Right.
You don't have to be a total bimbo, but you can, and you can also be smart, right? We don't have to go to extremes. Relationships are about balance and nuance, right? Nobody comes out of the womb 100% way, 100% perfect for Yasha Allah. And no man comes out of the womb exactly 100% perfect for me, right? So I feel like there's a lot of nuance in relationships, and we kind of have to find a balance between being the soft feminine woman and having a brain, on our shoulders where we can handle business, which I feel a lot of my sisters are very smart, and we can handle it. It's just about, because we've been in our masculine energy for so long, toning it down, falling back, allowing the man to lead. Once we feel like, he's not going to lead us somewhere off the cliff, because I do feel like once we understand that he's a strong leader, I feel naturally we just become more subdued, and we allow them to just lead, right? Yeah. But I feel like, that may take some time, and I don't know if all of you brothers, are patient, but maybe that's a different broadcast.
Of course.
But what I'm saying is, it is gonna take some time, and I think a lot of us are open. In my generation, we're open to unlearning some of those harsh male go-getter tendencies and falling back. So we're be patient with us, brothers. We're working on it a lot. As you can see in the chat, a lot of us are working on our femininity, being more subdued, and just being in a place where we can be led. And then I think Ariel, she was saying that she knows a lot of women who are in C-suites and they can do it all. But you said something, and I think the operative word in your comment was that they're married. What I was talking about before were the single women. we didn't have time to go sit down and get pampered. And that's part of why I came on this live, is to defend them, because I know they're doing this on their own and they do want to date high level men, but it's a lot of challenges that we're going through. So brothers, please be patient with us. And we're here, we're trying, and we're just, once again, balance. And I think hopefully we can just work this thing out. Second broadcast, I know, because this is a hot topic. So
this is a very, very, very hot topic, and I am looking forward to part 2 in advance. Ladies, y'all need to come on that broadcast, because Sister Nika held it down on this one, but we might need to get more brothers and more sisters on top of those that are already here, because I want to see y'all back for part 2. So real quick, y'all, let's give a big shout out to tonight's guests. Y'all really did a phenomenal job. I don't know how everybody else felt, but the show to me was just so much better because, your input and your perspective and your dialogue, it just went such a long way towards us really coming to an understanding, you know what I mean? And just having the conversation. I think that there was so many ladies that really benefited from this perspective on both sides of the conversation. And I think the brothers were definitely very appreciative as well. So thank y'all so much for all of y'all's support, man. I love y'all and thank y'all. And I can't wait to see y'all again for part 2. Y'all stay tuned now. All right, now. So, y'all, we talked about successful men. Are successful men hard to find? Even Sister Anika said, no, they're not as hard to find as you think. But there's got to be a certain level of work to get there. You got to map them out. You got to know where to find them. And then you have to put yourself in the position to execute on your plan. Okay. And when you do that, you can be far more likely to attract the type of individuals you want to get with, rather than whatever situation you might find yourself in right now. All right. But I don't even feel comfortable talking about this subject on my own. I'm going to just wait for my team to get back on for part 2. Okay. Sheer Queen says, I wouldn't mind speaking on my current journey. Okay. Yasha Allah, you heard that? Sister Nika, you heard that? She say part 2, she gonna be in the mix. So we'll see, sister. All right. Don't be out here giving no false promises. All right. So just make sure that you're on. Sister Nika, I see you on a private chat. Yes, we definitely can talk about that. Just stay on, and then I'll make sure that I cue you in. Okay. So for those of y'all that are just joining, please make sure that y'all smash that like button. If y'all really enjoyed tonight's broadcast, y'all, please make sure that y'all donate. And I want to give a big shout out to my sister, LA for Life. Don't think I forgot about you, LA. Listen, y'all, there are certain guests that are going to get personal sound effects whenever they come in the building. Y'all just don't know it yet, but just y'all wait and see. Just y'all wait and see. We got my sister LA for Life in the house. Thank you so much for that $20 super chat. So happy for another donation. Thank you for supporting the show. You see that? We got another sponsor on the broadcast. All right. So I want to give a big shout out to my brother, my man, Mr. YouTube himself. We the People University. Thank you for being on here, man. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat, King. We really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for all that you do to help to uplift our community. All right. If y'all haven't yet checked out We the People University, please go on a brother's channel and show him some love. All right. So listen, y'all, as with every broadcast, y'all know that we have 2 free stocks to give away, y'all. Okay. This show is sponsored by Webull, one of the fastest growing financial brokerage companies in the world. And on Webull, you're able to not only invest in the stock market, you can also invest in cryptocurrency. So if you guys are interested in becoming investors, then make sure that you tap the link in the comments section so that way you can get started on your investing journey. Okay, y'all know we got some future broadcasts coming up on crypto and other things, Lord willing. So make sure that y'all get invested now, because we will be talking about more very soon. Now, as I always tell you guys, okay, if you want to work with me personally, then make sure that you book a session. Okay, I've got a few more slots left open for the month of November. So if you want to book a session with me so that I can help you level up in your business and your personal finances, then please click the link in the description below. Okay. All you got to do is tap the link that I just provided. Okay. And then once you do that, it'll give you my calendar, which has all of my available days and times. Just click whichever day and time works best for you, and then you'll be good to go. Okay, guys? So thank y'all so much for tuning in. If you don't have the book already, make sure that you go ahead and grab your free copy of the How to Succeed Survival Guide. This book, I outline how I paid off my $95,000 in student loans once I graduated from college. I also outline how I made a transition successfully from being an IT professional in corporate America to being a full-time entrepreneur, as well as a real estate investor and a best-selling author. All I need for you guys to do is to make sure that you go ahead and get the book, give me your shipping information, and then this book will be on the way, y'all. Also, leave me a comment and let me know what you want me to talk about on future broadcasts. Sheer Queen, I don't know when part 2 is going to be, but I know it's going to be backed by popular demand. Okay. You said you do need a heads up since you work and have 2 kids. Okay. I'll make sure that we plan that session. I'll make sure that we plan that session, my sister, just for you. Okay. We'll do it at least a week out. And let me know, leave me a comment below, maybe which days work best for you to do the show, and maybe even certain times. All right, y'all. So listen, we have been on here long enough, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. Thank you for all the love. Lord willing, I'll be back on here tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central. If this is your first time watching, please make sure that you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that way you can receive an alert the next time that I do a show. Okay, I want to give a special shout out to the official sponsor of tonight's broadcast. Our official sponsor for tonight's broadcast is none other than our sister LA for Life. She beat out, she kind of tied, but she beat out We the People University by 1 cent, y'all. We the People University had that 1999 super chat. All right, and as y'all know, I always acknowledge the official sponsor as whoever was the top sponsor for tonight's broadcast. So quick shout out to all of the sponsors yet again. Shout out to We the People University for the 1999 super chat. Thank you again to LA for Life for the $20 super chat. Thank you, Rodney, for the $5 super chat. My man, my brother. Shout out to Sheer Queen for the $5 super chat. Shout out to my sister Ariel for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, as always. You know, my brother Yasha Allah, you always know he's showing love. All right. And shout out to our sister A Diamond, as well as the $15 Cash App that I did receive from Ramon Graham. Thank you so much for that as well. Got you in the mix as well, family. So thank y'all so much for all that you do. Until next time, y'all, keep pushing.